I became a Star Wars fan after seeing The Empire Strikes Back when it debuted back in the 80s. I've been a big nerd ever since. It's played a very important role in my life as far as my imagination and shaping my geekdom. And we have our esteemed panel here. We have Timothy Lim. He is the artist known online as Ninja Inc. He's a freelance artist specializing in licensed merchandise and prints for major companies including Lucasfilm, Marvel, Hasbro, and Valve. With more than 40 years of professional experience in the comics and merchandising industry, his work has been featured in print, posters, t-shirts, and on an international level, including IDW's Ghostbusters, Think Geek, Hot Topic, G4's Attack of the Show. Is that right? Okay. I always want to say Attack of the Clones. Anytime I see Attack of. Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, Udon's Tribute Series, Art Books, MTV's Splash Blog, Super Punch, Comic Alliance, Fashionably Geek, T-Fury, and Ripped Apparel. His work can also be regularly seen as exclusively licensed to major conventions such as Emerald City, Comic-Con, C2E2, Star Wars Celebration, and Alamo City Comic-Con. Thank you for sitting here with us. We also have Teddy Ferguson. If you want to have a detailed discussion regarding the differences between lightsaber hilts, then 13-year-old Teddy Ferguson is your man. He is not only a fan of the original 6 Star Wars movies, but also the offshoot series like Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. He's a self-taught lightsaber slinger and enjoys a lazy afternoons in the yard perfecting his craft. I would stay away from him when he was swinging a lightsaber because I bet he's very accurate. Thank you, Teddy, for being here. My pleasure. We also have Byron Werner. He was born in Maryland. He spent most of his life in the Los Angeles area, and while attending the California Institute of the Arts, he fell in with a bunch of experimental animators who were later asked to work on Star Wars, and they contacted him about joining the crew. What he thought was going to be his only movie experience on a small sci-fi film turned into his entry into a 28-year career in animation and special effects. Good, bad, and popular hits, cult films, top grossers, bombs. He has worked on all sorts of various companies, sometimes with screen credits, sometimes, unfortunately, not. A partial list of his films include Star Wars, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Poltergeist, Tron, Buckaroo Banzai, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghost, Titanic, iRobot, Star Trek Nemesis. He has lived in Little Rock for the last 10 years, where he participates in a weekly radio show, The Rural War Room, on KABF, Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Byron, for being here. And thank you all for being here. We've got questions here, and you guys just go in the order that its inspiration strikes you, but why do you think the Star Wars universe, it's a 38-year-old movie franchise, why do you think it continues to resonate with moviegoers today? Go. Rock, paper, scissors, whatever.
I'll go first. I think the reason why it resonates with people today is because, well, let's start with here. There is a really interesting book that you can get on Amazon, and it's called Star Wars: The Magic of Myth. And one of the things that the book talks about or tries to defend is this idea that Star Wars is less of a science fiction and more of an ongoing mythology. You could easily take those Star Wars characters and put them in any environment, whether it be the Old West, Roman antiquity, or in a science fiction universe, or a fairy tale, and the elemental parts of that story would still be intact regardless of whatever setting the characters are in. It just so happens that George Lucas picked a space opera setting as his environment. So I think a lot of those archetypes that are in there, stories involving good and evil, the young farm boy who ends up becoming something greater than himself, those elements will always resonate with people, and they have a timeless quality to them, regardless of how young or old you are. You can watch these films and pass them on to your children. and show them to your parents, and I don't think that they lose their appeal over time. They, in fact, sort of enrich the experience with it, and I think that's why it still resonates with us today.
Well, I'm going to have to apologize right off the bat and say that I'm not all that fond of the Star Wars movies.
Oh, and I want to say that's okay, because we want different opinions.
The first one I liked okay. It's a little boy's film, you know, and by the time it looks great, it sounds great, the design, the costume, all of that is beautiful, but the plot, the acting, it's okay. It's okay. By the time they got to The Empire Strikes Back, and I saw Yoda show up, I went, uh-oh. And then he opened his mouth, and it's Frank Oz doing Fozzie Bear. Oh, I knew it was over. For me, it was over. It is still going on. I'm looking forward to the new 3, because they can't be any worse than the ones that they just turned out. I didn't even see the 3rd one in the last installment. I don't care. Talk. Sorry. Okay.
You don't know? Wait, what?
What was the question
Why do you
again?
think that Star Wars, the series, why do you think it continues, why do you think fans continue to enjoy Star Wars? We find new fans every year. Why do you think other people would like Star Wars? Or why do you like Star Wars?
Well, when I first watched it, probably in 2009 or something, I just thought it was pretty cool the way the characters acted. And, yes.
No, that's a perfectly legitimate answer. I mean, the way they behaved spoke to you. And I think
Yes.
that's a perfectly fine answer.
Well, thanks.
Oh, we already have people wanting to ask questions.